successful opening partnerships. So that's very important to getting off to a good start, particularly in the power play at Mumbai. Because we see if you lose early wickets in Mumbai, you could be 3-4 down in the first 7 overs, and it's very hard to get back and get to a defendable total from there.
All right. Let's finish with Mumbai Indians, and then we'll spend a lot of time on RCB. But Kishan, this is again, everyone has a little story here in the Mumbai Indians, high-profile players that they are big money as well. The way he sort of started after losing his central contract, the way we're seeing him play right now, I wonder just what this does for an Ishan Kishan and what the narrative around an Ishan Kishan would be, given he's had to share both sides of public opinion for everything that's happened.
Yeah, look, without knowing the real detail behind, why he hasn't got a central contract and that sort of controversy leading into the IPL, I've always been a huge fan of Ishan Kishan purely because I sort of define him as a serious impact player. He plays the same way every time he gets the opportunity at the top of the order, and he can really hurt the opposition in that power play. And we're seeing actually an Abhishek Sharma at Sunrisers do a similar thing, where they play fearlessly and they play very much for the team, as in, I'm here to get the side off to a flying start, and I will, put at risk my wicket to, take the game on. And his added bonus is he can keep. So I think he's such a good package. And it'll do an enormous amount to his confidence, knowing he's had some setbacks, that are outside the little IPL bubble, to get his career back on track, because he's still only a really young guy. So, it's getting his career back on track, which is the most important thing. And, maybe give him a little bit of time to reflect and look at things he's done in the recent past and how he can do things better moving forward.
Is there any box that's yet to be ticked for MI? Shall we go to the bowling and wonder whether 190 is too much? Because the way they're making these chases go, it doesn't seem like they'd be too bothered about this.
I mean, they would still look at their bowling and say, they can do better than that. I mean, that's one area, I guess, with the batting firing and almost everyone now substantial scores in the tournament already. They would be looking at their bowling attack, and good that Shreyas got some game time and he bowled well. So that's a big positive. And but then apart from that, obviously Bumrah would look at their bowling attack and say if they can do better with that.
We spent a lot of time on our mid-inning show just admiring the art of Bumrah and how it is truly an artist at work, and Mitch McClenaghan's played with him plenty and given us great insight on it. But perhaps if there are any boxes still to take, it is about how he's being used.
Oh, look, I feel like he's, particularly in the game tonight, I think there's definitely an opportunity for him to break partnerships before they get started. So just identify as a team who your key partnerships are going to be, and get them on to try and break those partnerships before they're 43 off 24, and like we saw with DK tonight and Faf. So if there's any query, it's probably that. That being said, what the bowling unit probably needs is someone to put their hand up and say, well, I'm going to be your other wicket taker in the middle. I'm going to be as well planned as Jasprit Bumrah on how to get those middle order batsmen out. And that'll be significant, because there will be games where Bumrah isn't as successful in the middle phase of breaking partnerships. And someone else needs to do the work or have the skill set to be able to break those partnerships. The small box that we were unsure about before tonight was the spin bowling department. Nabi bowled well again.
It's not a bad game for Shreyas Gopal.
And Shreyas Gopal actually, in those conditions, under the pressure he was under, bowled very well. 1 for 32 off his 4 overs. Yep, a couple of loose balls that went to the boundary, but by and large, his accuracy was very, very good.
Yeah.
Going back to usage of Bumrah, yes, you would ideally want him, but I guess the moment somebody else steps up, somebody else is in a seamer or someone, I guess things get relatively easy for Hardik then. Because at this point in time, he can only depend on Bumrah to pick up those wickets. So, unfortunately, he's only got 4 overs. So it becomes that much more difficult, I guess, for a captain to kind of use him that way. So, maybe once he gets somebody else doing well, then he can be yeah, I think then he can use him differently.
Isn't that someone else himself?
It could be anyone, could be himself.
That's the first over he's bowled in 3 games.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, if he is considered as an all-rounder going to the World Cup and his overs are going to be important,
True.
that someone else has to be him.
Yeah.
Well, there's a team makeup that you could potentially look in at the World Cup where he has to bowl 4 overs. You know, if they want to get the right balance right, if you want to try get a Rinku Singh into the lineup, he might have to bowl 4. So.
Very good questions coming in on RCB. But just to finish this chat off, I'm also wondering whether it will take time for what is pretty much an entirely new bowling attack to get used to the Wankhede as an overseas bowler. They don't have anyone with the experience of having bowled here. Kutsia is learning. But does that perhaps play into Hardik's challenges or limitations that these bowlers have not played at this ground before?
Yes, it does. But I think Gerald Corsia's got better every game. He's just takes a couple of balls to realise what his correct plan should be, and he's still a little bit raw in terms of his line. Every now and again he'll lose a ball which it releases the pressure that he's built. So I think he's getting considerably better each game in these conditions, but I think it's going to take some time with the other guys.
Something we were discussing earlier on, if they could actually go and get another out-and-out bowler, looking at the batting order, I mean, someone like Shreyas can be, I won't say he's a good batter, but he can bat. Right?
So the Nabi position is...
Yeah, so get somebody like a proper out-and-out bowler.
Okay.
And compromise a little bit with the batting, I guess.
Well, you think this is actually just... It's just the one thing that perhaps they need improvement on. Otherwise, this has been a statement of a performance. So let's take some questions because RCB fans would want to try and understand this better. There is Vignesh saying nothing that RCB could have done other than this. They couldn't have done anything more. Brutal hitting from MI. It's a statement. Even if RCB scored 230, it seemed to Mumbai would have chased this easy. Is that a fair assessment that RCB actually gave this everything and yet were so easily beaten?
Yeah, well, they gave everything, but I think what we need to recognise in a team environment, when you start losing, it's very hard to understand how to learn how to win. And RCB are in that category at the moment, where they're a side that are looking at ways to win, but finding it, so hard to, find the exit to that position, and confidence is a massive problem with that group at the moment around their batting, trusting the depth of their batting, trusting all their batters, and therefore there's always conversations around their bowling. So there's always that confidence issue with their bowling attack. So they're in a world of pain at the moment with regards to what is their best combination, and the whole team confidence is shot to pieces.
I think they need more out of Siraj. So there was a period...
Very good. Sorry, I'll just take Satvik's question. Why is Siraj looking so toothless, especially with the new ball not taking wickets and going for big runs, please?
Yeah, I just want to flow on from that, and obviously I'm going to talk about Siraj, because there was a period there where Rohit was on 2 off 7. Okay, he hadn't got off to a good start. And then Siraj bowled a ball which was a half volley going down leg, swinging down leg to Ishan Kishan, which got him underway as well. And there was an opportunity for him to really, and you'd expect from Siraj, who's your international bowler, to be able to be a little bit more dependable on his lines and lengths and keep that pressure on. So what I've seen from Siraj so far is particularly to left-handers. And to Rachin Ravindra, we saw it again tonight to Ishan Kishan. He's bowling a lot of his misses are down leg and giving easy pick-up balls to guys who are strong on the leg side. I just think he's really struggling with his line. And that comes from maybe not backing his wrist position in terms of how much the ball's going to swing. We've seen him try to bowl more of those than I've seen him do in the past. I just think he's just a little bit lost in terms of where he's starting the ball and how much it's going to swing. And unfortunately, when it is swinging, particularly to left-handers, it's going a long way down leg. That is with a combination of, I feel like he's bowled 2 lengths. He's never really honed in on that 7 metre length, that 6.5 to 8 metre length, where we saw Bumrah be so successful tonight at the start to Virat Kohli, where you're challenged to get forward or back. We haven't seen enough of that. It's either been a half volley or it's been above the hip, a nice pick-up shot for those guys.
He looks tired to me.
Yeah.
He looks tired to me.
Yeah, he did.
You know, both mentally and physically, he looks tired.
Is that concerning, though?
Well, it is concerning for RCB, and it's concerning for him. But, you know, without knowing the backlog of his workload coming into the IPL, he looks tired to
3
me.
tests, I
Because-
think, against England?
That's what, 3 tests. And the reason why I would tend to agree with Tom is because he was bowling well, test match cricket.
Yeah.
He was bowling that test length in test match cricket. He bowled very, very well there. But not to find that length that you're talking about, that in-between or the good length, which he's been bowling for the last couple of months,
it's been
that just tells you,
sensational,
that tells you that there's something about the wrist position as well that could be because his body is not giving it. You know what I'm saying? So it could well be the reason.
And it's also a difficult thing for a player, it doesn't matter how good you are, when you're in a team that's not winning, to recapture form. Because at times you need the team to just carry you through maybe little passages of play during a game, or maybe a whole game, and then you repay that faith in the following game.
That's why it's even more important with what we said at the start of the tournament, is that their best lineup has 2 international fast bowlers. Because a Lockie Ferguson, a Reece Topley, or Lockie Ferguson, Alzari, or Tom Curran, they can carry him in those pressure moments if he's struggling a little bit.
So the other thing can be the fact that the others aren't performing that well.
Absolutely.
Him being the senior pro or being the main guy, maybe trying a little
Fair
too
to say,
much.
he's a wonderful bowler, but he likes to be guided, right? When he plays for India,
Yes.
Bumrah is
So-
always in his ear, Rohit's in his ear.
So that's what we were talking about. He's one guy who, it seems, depends a lot on the mid-off. You know what I'm saying?
Right, so the guy you've got on the bench there, Lockie Ferguson, he's captain New Zealand.
Yeah.
You know, he's the leader of when Southee and Bolt aren't there. He's the leader of that attack. He's the guy who's got that cricketing IQ who would be great to have it mid-on or mid-off.
It's still a funny one for a bowler who was in such fine form for RCB last year. It's not quite started, and it is concerning. Question from Vignesh on whether it's concerning for India's T20 World Cup as well as they look for the right partner for Jasprit Bumrah with the new ball. It is early days, but let's keep an eye out on how things go for Siraj. It's a very good one that I got from Something Different is the name of the account. Is it too hard for bowlers to bowl Josh Hazlewood's length in the power play? It's not a bad question for an RCB fan.
Yeah, well, Josh Hazlewood's length coming from 6'6", 6'7", is a different length than someone that is 6 foot. You know, it's very different because the bounce from that same length from a shorter bowler against a tall bowler with a very high action like Hazlewood's got is a very different delivery. You know, the ball is hitting your bat, the top half against hitting in the bottom half.
Yeah.
So to replicate Josh Hazlewood's length, it's not just about length, it's to do with the release point and also the snap of the wrist that Josh Hazlewood's got, which is one of his great assets, which makes the ball hurry onto your bat.
Hanish is asking whether there are too many batting overpowered lineups this IPL. MI, Sunrisers, Rajasthan, KKR, and you put CSK in there. Are we seeing too many?
Oh, geez.
Too
What
much.
do you
batting?
want, 150 versus 150? You want to go back to that decade of IPL cricket? Well, isn't it exciting? Isn't it? And this is always the way with IPL cricket. You've coached such a long time. You've commentated on a lot of these games. Is that as a bowler, every year you used to turn up to the start of the tournament and go, wow, guys are playing a different shot. Or they're charging the first couple of balls. And every year comes to the IPL and the batters have advanced their game. And so the best bowlers, most successful bowlers, adapt faster to what's happening in the game. And I think the first part of this tournament was seeing ultra-aggressive batting. And I think as we go on, there'll be some bowlers who'll be able to cotton on and actually realise what's going to be successful against trying to stop this, onslaught that we've seen so far in this tournament.
This is good from Nikhil for Tom. Does Tom regret not going for Ishan Kishan for more than 15 crore in that auction for SRH?
I didn't. What's the name of the gentleman?
Nikhil.
Nikhil. I wasn't holding the paddle.
Anyway, they would have traded him back next season or something.
Yeah, he would have been at GT with Rashid.
This one's from Mitch, also from Nikhil. How does MI just make these kind of comebacks after having slow starts for tournaments where most teams just start second guessing and it just sort of goes one way from there?
Well, I mean, it helps when your batting lineup, you feel like you can walk out and score 300 every time. That definitely helps. How do they do it? I think that week off was very, very important. I think most of the players you get come through MI, particularly the senior guys, they're all very strong in their own self-belief. And then when you get that self-belief joined in with the belief of the other players in your team, which is kind of what MI is all about, you kind of get around the fellas. I think that's when they become unstoppable.
And the other thing, it'll be interesting to figure out, the slow starts we're talking about, how many home games do they play the first 5 games, and then how many home games they play after that, because obviously Wankhede is a fortress, right? MI has got brilliant home numbers. So, for example, now they're going to play back-to-back 3-4 home games.
Yeah, they got one more now, so that'll make it 4.
4.
They've got CSK on Sunday.
Right, so I'm saying, so second half when MI comes into form.
You're on a bit of a, already you've given yourself.
Yes.
And that is RCB's problem. They've never been able to make the Chinnaswamy a formidable place for opposition teams. Kulatumani, how many do RCB need to defend with this bowling? Very simple question.
At this venue?
More than 197.
Well, just with this bowling, I guess. They will go back to the Chinnaswamy to welcome Sunrisers.
We've quite often talked about 15, 20 more than par that RCB require, given their sort of deficiency on their bowling side. So I'd stick to that. I think that, if a par scores 180, they need 200.
But also, to be fair, I mean, this particular game we're talking about, I think toss was important as well. I thought the pitch was sticky.
Ground,
I mean, the pitch was sticky. The first 6-8 overs did considerably more than the rest of the game.
Good point.
Just take one or two quickly on the first innings from Vijayendra. Would our teams strategically less prepared for different scenarios? The RCB impact sub today, did it make sense? And I think we can also just revisit on that note the selection that they made. While we were calling for perhaps Will Jacks to add some impetus, was this the game to play Cam Green and maybe Will Jacks come in for Maxwell? There is a Maxwell question here. Let's address that as well. Another duck. This is just going to invoke the fears of all those who've seen Maxwell just go firing blanks in many years of the IPL.
Yeah, look, I personally would have gone that way.
So Jacks for Maxwell is how you would have gone?
Yeah, I would have gone that way because it's a like for like. You've got off spinner. You've got top order bat. Okay, Maxwell bats at 4. Jacks ideally you want opening. And then you look at what Green has done at that venue the year before for that franchise. There were so many things more to sort of lean towards sticking with Green. And just the manner of the way that Maxwell's got out so far, the pattern of how he's got out would be concerning me. And that's probably why I may have just swayed towards going for that switch.
Can you go back to that now for the next game? Maxwell out and...
But you never know, you got
how
injured,
do you fit them all in? So you want Cam Green to bat at 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so Faf is still there, he's opening.
But then you're also back to the 1 over 6 quick.
Exactly. It can't happen. Unfortunately, I have to look at defence first.
But
defence is going to be their bowling.
But also, now that Patidar's got runs, so I think there'll be a little more confidence in Patidar, and Lomror has done well in the past. So maybe they can actually look at getting an extra overseas fast bowler there. But talking about decision making, even last game, let's say the RR game, some of the decision making is it's baffling. For example, last game the debutant came in the 15th over to bat ahead of everyone else.
Yeah.
Last 2 overs, that's DK's job, right? Cam Green comes out to bat. Today,
DK came in earlier, and
DK came in earlier.
John comes in the 70s.
Then you get get your impact player in, a batter in. So some of the decisions are kind of baffling, and you're like, it doesn't add up. You know what I'm saying?
Do we see them finishing in the bottom 2?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Well, that's a real shame because there's such a strong following for this. Always great attendances at the Chinnaswamy, and yet it seems like there's not enough in this team for things to turn around. Funnier things have happened, but they sit now joint with the Delhi Capitals, and they've played the 1 game additionally. So it's just 1 out of 6 for Bengaluru with 2 points. Mumbai, all of a sudden 2 wins and a significant boost to their net run rate, puts them closer to the conversation of the Gujarat Titans, just 1 win shy of Hyderabad, and they play CSK next. So a win there, and suddenly Mumbai are much closer to the top 4 than we imagined after the first 4 rounds of games. Watch out, and they've got 1 more at the Wankhede. It's time to review this game in quick-fire fashion, a tribute perhaps to how Mumbai finished it. So, you know the drill, gentlemen, 20 seconds for each of you. Mitch, let me start with you, with your old teammate. What makes Jasprit Bumrah such a fine bowler regardless of conditions? 20 seconds.
regardless of the conditions, he's got all the skills required to be successful in whatever conditions he's faced with. I think his IQ, his cricket IQ, is better than probably 95% of the bowlers going around world cricket, and he just has this amazing ability to execute.
All right, nicely done. Deep Dasgupta, in spite of Bumrah's brilliance, do Mumbai still have concerns around their bowling? 20 seconds?
Yeah, definitely, yes. Apart from Bumrah, and obviously a big positive this game was Shreyas Gopal and him coming in. But they still need at least another couple of bowlers to step up and step up to the plate.
All right, Tom Moody, you can take 20 more if you'd like, but how do Bengaluru fix things after this? What changes would you make, and how do they adjust their bowling issues?
Is this 20 minutes or 20 seconds? Yeah, look, it's a dark place that RCB are in at the moment. I think they need to address their bowling. I think 2 overseas bowlers is something they need to consider. I like the fact that they injected Will Jacks into the game, and they may need to look at that going forward.
All right. Specifically with regard to their bowlers, what would be your overseas for Bengaluru going forward now, Mitch?
Well, assuming that Lockie Ferguson is fit, he comes into the side. I'm sticking with Reece Topley as your left-arm seamer, so putting defence to the front of mind, and then I think I'd go Will Jacks and Faf.
Okay. And Deep, Ishan Kishan's innings, given everything that's happened, how would you rate what it could do for him going forward?
I think huge, a world of good for him with all the negativity around him before and first few games. It's kind of a monkey off your back because obviously there were a lot of question marks regarding his temperament and him not having a great last season also, and the price tag that he comes with. I think this is huge.
Okay, and finally Tom Moody. Sky fit and firing as well. Could this now signal the difference for the Mumbai Indians as they make a charge to the top 4?
I think it's a massive bonus that he's fit and firing for him personally, for Mumbai Indians and for India. He showed again that the magic is still there. The way that he seamlessly finds the boundary on both off and leg side is so damaging, and every franchise in this tournament will be standing up and looking and thinking, wow.
Okay, that is a rapid-fire review. Gentlemen, well done. It's now time to see how we did in the impact zone. There might be some big scores and some... Oh, Tom's very pleased.
Yeah, because my play didn't play.
To just give you a little summary. Now,
you know what? It's so dumb for me, though.
Behave, boys, behave. Sorry. Let me explain it to the viewers who might join us for the first time. They've been picking 3 players before each game. And today, actually, Tom Moody allowed his co-panelists the chance to go first. They said, no, Tom can go first. And then he picked Bumrah. Now let's enter, with that backstory and context, the impacts. Well. It's close between 1 and 2. And I think if you would have just gone for someone other than David Mitch, you were in the game.
So stupid. I knew as soon as I said it, and I knew that they were batting second, I was like, he's not going to bat. And then I thought, 197, he might bat. He might get 20 off 10. No. RCB, you've got to lift. Make sure my impact player plays. Take some wickets.
And that's in spite of a minus 22 that he picked up. Would you like to... let's see what Tom's giving Mitch. Yeah.
There you go, mate. Just sort yourself out.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well done. But that, just to understand ESPN Cricinfo's smart stats, which are used to decide impact of a play in a game, how good is that? Jasprit Bumrah, 161. Yeah. Right, that is the significant impact he's had on this game, and he's clearly kept RCB to what was a well below par score, and then the batters have done their job. Gentlemen?
Just on that, yes. I think I've scored the best negative score of an individual.
Have you? Minus 22?
Minus 22, I think. I don't think that's been better. There hasn't been a better performance on the other side of the spectrum.
No. Are you just rubbing it in that you basically
I'm just saying that. I'm just trying to make it a little bit easier for Mitch, who's struggling here to come to terms with it.
Well, I'll tell you what will make it easier, more than that, is that you will not be with us tomorrow.
Okay.
Mitch has every chance of winning tomorrow.
Probably not.
You'll be, of course, in our good friend Star Sports studios, so you can text me your impacts and I'll still try and squeeze them in. Let's try and see if that works. Tom Moody, thank you very much for your time and your thoughts. Mitchell McClenaghan, I will see you tomorrow. And Deep Dasgupta, you will be on a flight to the game tomorrow. So safe travels to you, sir.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you again very soon So that's the game that we will build up to on Friday evening. Lucknow Super Giants against Delhi Capitals, build up just around the toss on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Do download the mobile app. If you haven't already, there will be plenty said and reviewed about this RCB performance, and of course how Mumbai Indians have just hit form at the right time as far as MI are concerned. What a big one they've got on Sunday against CSK. That promises to be a cracker, the Wankhede. For tomorrow, it's LSG versus DC. Look forward to your company then. Good night.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.